Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome in. It's Friday with Longshore and McKnight together here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville. Beautiful day to kick off the weekend. Not as humid this morning, Barry. It's that first kind of touch of, I think football's in the air.
Yeah, it's the last couple of days have been in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Me
I'll
too.
take it because it's been so ungodly hot. And I know the football teams will take it. Troy scrimmages last night at the Vet. Auburn scrimmages today.
Yep.
Alabama scrimmages tomorrow. Football is in the air. But then again, before the season starts, how about treating yourself, upping your street cred by showing up at your football game, whether it's high school, whether it's your college game, in something nice and new to where your buddies are saying, hey, man, look at you.
Yeah.
Where did you get that? And how much did you pay for it?
Well,
and you can talk with a little bit of pride.
You know, Barry, got in this morning, got the hot sheet of all the great deals going on, and there are deals every day here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville. It's the kickoff sales event.
I love it.
Get it? Football season. We got the preseason going on in the NFL. Of course, some high school action coming up not too far from now. 14 grand off new 2025 Ram 2500s. That's the extra heavy duty if you need something for a farm or construction site. 21 grand off new 2025 Ram 1500s or 3.9% APR for 72 months. But we're talking about 21 grand off a new Ram 1500 at Northwest Florida and Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer. That's how they're selling them at such incredible prices. 21 grand off for 3.9% APR for 72 months. And we're not talking about 3 or 4. They're just trying to get off the lot. If you drive up here to Stivers, which we encourage you to do on Cobbs Ford Road, in the front of the dealership, on the sides, and the rear, there are Rams everywhere.
Here's what I like to do with my Stivers vehicle, and maybe it'll work for you too as well. I rather enjoy it. I'm driving my Stivers vehicle around, and if there's not, if there's not 80s music to listen to on the radio, or there's not a ball game or something, I like to pass the time thinking about how I'm going to spend all that money that I saved on this vehicle.
That's right.
$21,000 that you don't have to pay on a vehicle, a quality vehicle from Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Spend a little time and you can be a little reminiscent. You can have a little flight of fancy and thinking, okay, how would I spend that $21,000 that I didn't have to spend on this vehicle?
I'm telling you, it is unbelievable. Very great deals on the Jeep lineup as well. Jeep Wrangler, 6 grand off. The Jeep, Jeep Compass, 6 grand off. The Jeep Wrangler up to 14 grand off. And the Jeep Cherokee at 11 grand off. Just a few of the many great examples going on here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville, where price sells cars. Come by and see our friends here today, tomorrow, because the kickoff sales event is underway with the start of football season here with the high schools, the colleges, the NFL. It is happening, and we are so excited about it, and they are too here at Stivers. Speaking of kicking off, Barry, we're kicking off our tour around the SEC this morning, actually in about 10 minutes or so with our man Brett Norsworthy.
Brett has been a buddy of ours for a year, been a guest on our program before from 560 WHBQ in Memphis. He also does pre- and post-game work for the Ole Miss Network. Going to check out the Rebels and see what the vibe is for Lane Kiffin post-Jackson Dart. Yeah, they open up against Georgia State. Then their first SEC game is the very next week, and they go to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. What's that going to be like? Well, we got you covered, because later on in the show, we're going to talk a little Kentucky football with the Big Blue insider himself, Nick Gabriel, who's been doing this thing for like 40-something years now. Our tour of the SEC is minutes away, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. And I want to check my handy-dandy helmet schedule here, Barry.
Yeah.
You can tell I used to watch Blue's Clues with my kids.
Yes.
Because it was the handy-dandy book.
Yes.
Ole Miss and Kentucky. Just want to make sure here. I believe that is the only SEC game. What I mean, both SEC teams are playing. Yes, I'm checking, scanning. That is correct. So Ole Miss at Kentucky, that's week 2. That's the only SEC versus SEC matchup in the league. Everybody else is non-conning. that week, and there's some pitiful non-con matchups. A few good ones. Oklahoma's playing Michigan that day. So I guess that's going to be maybe a primetime slot, not at 11 o'clock. Because Kentucky went into Oxford last year and beat the Rebels.
Yeah, and it was not an upset. I mean, they led throughout. It's weird because, again, we are no longer in divisions. A lot of you may not have caught that. Some of you may have known that the National League has had the designated hitter since 2022 and totally missed the fact that SEC football no longer has divisions.
Yep.
And because they don't,
yep.
Isn't it weird? Ole Miss, we will check them out first. They don't play Auburn or Alabama this year. They're not on either schedule. Kentucky takes on Auburn in Auburn on November 1st, and that's it. So
that's it.
Ole Miss doesn't play the Tide. Ole Miss doesn't play the Tigers.
Got some pretty good scheduling there over in Oxford, but Kiffin's got to get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned this, Barry, because it really, I don't want to say it weighed on me, but I did think a little bit about it. And I thought, really? Is there no designated hitter in the National League anymore? I should probably know this because I am in sports, allegedly. That one slipped past me. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you don't really watch baseball anyway. You don't really follow it. I know a little bit about baseball. Still don't like the third swing, strike, go to first, whatever. But I got to tell you, that one slipped past me. I did not see that.
That's okay. That's okay. It was still, except for that, you were making a pretty good point.
Was that during COVID? I mean, is that when it happened?
No, it was 2022.
I'm thinking, when did this happen? Yeah. So I got to come clean. I did not know that.
A couple of things to bear in mind, just to update him and you on. They still use wood bats. Let's see. You don't have the Mel Allen This Week in Baseball anymore. He's been dead for about 30 years.
Oh, that was great.
Went to school at the University of Alabama.
Kurt Gowdy still doing games?
No, he's gone. He's no longer with us.
And who was his color analyst that was the former catcher?
Oh, Joe Garagiola.
Yeah, Joe Garagiola.
Again, dead.
Wow.
So man, we got to keep John
Bowie
updated.
Kuhn still the commissioner?
Bowie Kuhn. Where did he come up with that? How does that work out?
I don't know.
Well, also in happier subject matter as well, I did, because I didn't check it out yesterday, I did ask John, and this is going to come up later, hey, how did the NFL preseason go for you last night?
Yeah.
And he brightened up immediately. He said, he said, it went pretty well. And I said, because, we'll go over the Phantoms Daily Dog a little bit later on. He'll have another one because there's more NFL preseason games tonight. But I said, did Seattle win? He said, I didn't pick them to win. I picked them to cover.
Yeah.
Barry. I said, so they lost? He said, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I'm thinking, what in the heck? So I looked. They tied last night.
Oh, yeah.
Tied?
We'll
talk about that a little bit later.
I cannot wait to talk about that. Yeah. On the River Region Straw chat line, Barry, is the infield fly rule still in effect?
Yeah, you still have that. Let's see. Some of the other baseball things out there that you may have missed. Let's see. The manager still wears a baseball uniform, but most of the time they don't wear a baseball jersey anymore. They just wear a hoodie. But yeah, they still have to do that. Yes, the outfield fences are at the discretion of the home park. They're not uniform all over the place.
Chris Schenkel is no longer doing broadcast either, Theotis, but that's a good one. I miss old Chris.
Yeah, again, deceased.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the old Saturday in the South deal that they had, where they went over the history of the SEC, and they were talking about television and how television, really kind of expanded, because when you and I were little kids, you had one game in the SEC and you were proud to get that one. And that was the only game that you had on TV. Yeah. But then they started getting into like nighttime football, primetime nighttime.
Yes.
And the first guy, even before Keith Jackson, the first guy that everybody knew about or everybody saw was Chris Schenkel.
That's right.
Chris Schenkel was the man in the SEC for a while. I think one of the very first games that was ever televised at night in the SEC was Alabama versus Virginia Tech, I think, something like that.
Yep.
And they were both bad. This was
it was
Bryant's
terrible.
bad years and everything. And Chris Schenkel was up there manfully just throwing it, up there and out there, and it was a bad game. But it was at night, and it was on TV, and they were excited about it. Yep.
It was great. It was awesome. So, Barry, early this morning, JJ in Atlanta, Bob from Pike Road have chimed in on the River Region Straw Chat line. They're hyped about the Crimson Tide. I got to tell you, I think Alabama's going to be better this year. But I'm still asking the question, what has changed in 9 months? And I'm just not so – I think they can make the playoff. But I've been thinking a lot about this lately because I'm feeling the giddiness. I'm feeling the Tide Nation thinking they're back. Year 2 is going to be completely different.
Right.
I got to see it with my eyes. I got to see them against Florida State. I got to see them go to Athens. I'm just not buying it at the moment.
He always is the voice of the fan. I'm always up in the press box doing a game and everything. I'm not out there slugging it out with everybody. He's always the voice of the fan. But here's where the disconnect is. You telling me you got to see it?
I got to see it.
You got to watch it?
Yes.
They've got to prove something to you?
Yep.
No. The voice of the fan would tell you, it don't matter. This is my team. I don't care if we lose 22 starters. I got to pull for them. We're going 10-2, and we may go undefeated. All of this waiting around and seeing, waiting around and saying they've got to show me something before you blindly just jump into it. That's a disconnect right there.
I love the fans' excitement and enthusiasm, but I think I'm asking a pretty good question. What has changed in 9 months? Since you saw Michigan with 90% of their first teamers opting out and Bama just slugging it through wherever they played that game. I can't even remember where it was played. And what's changed? Oh, Ty Simpson. He's the difference. Man, this offensive line's together. They've been really hitting it hard in the weight room. The secondary might be the best they've had since one of the Saban's teams. I'm hearing it, Barry, and I'm going to hear tomorrow afternoon when my operatives in the field are texting me and calling me, man, we're loaded. Oh, they look great.
Yeah.
And not to discount what they're going to be telling me, not to say I'm not believing them. I got to see it. I've got to see it.
How boring is that? How boring is that to say, well, let's see how they look before I form an opinion?
Yeah.
No. No, man. You got to jump in blindly. And then you can backtrack like Phillip does and say, I never really believed in this team in the first place. You got to know the ropes on this. We'll come back in just a moment. Big tour around the SEC begins today with some highly reputable individuals to counteract me and John. We are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Extra, extra. The referral perks just doubled at Dixie. Now through November 30th, get $50 for you and $50 off for your friend when you refer them to Dixie. That's a $100 value. Current Dixie customers get 10% off any repair just for being loyal. Dixie Cares Plan members get an unbeatable 20% off. Plus, you can finance anything over $250. Double the rewards, double the savings.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. We're here live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where Price sells cars. It is the kickoff sales event going on here in Prattville. Barry, getting ready for football season, kicking off some great deals at Northwest Florida and Alabama's largest Ram dealer, where you can get a Ram 1500 starting at $21,000 off or 3.9% APR for 72 months.
Yeah, you can make your deal here today, be in it by lunchtime, and be out styling around, getting ready for football season, getting that car ready for your child. If you have to go to college and school begins next week, get it done. They will save you money on a beautiful vehicle, and they have got loads of them here. Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Troy scrimmaged last night. Physical scrimmage. That's the way it's scripted to be. A lot of hitting, but, you have to kind of counter that. I think you asked the question yesterday of Rodney. You want it physical, but you don't want guys hurt, right? I think it was Rodney who said the number one thing to come out of your first scrimmage always had better be don't get anybody hurt. If somebody gets hurt in the first scrimmage, it better be a fluke, just one of those non-contact deals. CJ was talking about that. Or you've made a mistake. But you still got to get them physical because, again, the real value of the first scrimmage is to start figuring out who your players are.
That's right.
Because once you get to next week, and especially in 2 weeks, or after 2 weeks, when you start getting ready for game week preparation for your specific opponent, you don't still want to be having that fourth string guy pulling the same reps as your backup. You're going to, tomorrow, if you want to continue getting big-time reps in practice, you better show out in practice. Today, Auburn practice, scrimmages today, Troy yesterday, Alabama tomorrow. This better be, if you're one of those fringe guys and you want to make a move, you better make a move in this scrimmage.
Here's my couple of questions. And quickly, JJ from Atlanta, Bob from Pike Road, both have the same response. Milroe's gone, Bama will be better. Okay, yeah. I'm with you. I mean, I think that's a part of the puzzle, no doubt about it. Even though Milroe played the entire second half for the Seahawks last night.
Just in the NFL.
More on that later. Barry, is Jackson Arnold going to walk off the field tonight after Auburn's first scrimmage confident? I mean, is Hugh Freeze going to go, look, don't be blitzing this guy. And don't be stepping in front of one of his passes and going the other way for a pick six. I don't need this guy hanging his head after the scrimmage tonight. That's not realistic.
The reason why Jason Caldwell was talking about that, he said the defense usually knows. They've been practicing against him over and over. They know what the set is. They know what the play is. They can come bust every route.
Yep.
So they're playing a little vanilla maybe in the first scrimmage. It's not like they're saying, I could have had that one, I'm backing off and everything.
Yeah.
But they are going to be playing a little bit more of a.
I got to tell you, Barry, if I'm in the scrimmage and I got a chance to pick six it, I'm high stepping with my hand out like Dion did going to the end zone. I don't care what Jackson Arnold thinks or not.
Yeah. Ask his kids. Ask his kids when they're playing rook or when you're playing Uno or something with the kids.
Sure.
And they're 5 and 6. Or you're teaching them how to play checkers or something like that. At the very end of the game, you're giving them some. You're not playing your double Uno back card or something like that. But at the very end, when Dad's got a chance to win this thing,
hammer.
Honey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, they got to learn sometime,
Learning experience.
Hey, the game's right in front of you. A chance for a win, a chance for a big play. Listen, Junior, if you want to win, you just got to get better, okay? I'm taking my shot.
If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Suck it up, Buttercup. All right, our man Brett Norsworthy, he covers Ole Miss. He is our contact when it comes to Rebel football, and we're getting ready to talk to him and find out what's going on at Oxford. Brett, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, John and Barry. How are y'all? Doing well, thank you.
Man, we're pumped to have you in with us. First of all, let's talk to you. Let's put on your WHBQ 560 AM talk show hat. What's the vibe been among your listeners about the opening, for lack of a better phrase, Brett, of the Austin Simmons era?
Well, all set. I don't think there's going to be an appreciable drop-off at all from the 25th pick in the NFL draft, and that's Jackson Dart. Great player. Jackson was a great player and a great competitor, but it's copy and paste for Lane Kiffin. Look, you guys know that the 3 years that Lane Kiffin ran the offense for Coach Saban at Alabama, what he did with Blake, Jake, and Jalen Hurts, it shows he can coach quarterbacks. We know that. And what he's already done at Ole Miss with Matt Corral and what he's going to do with Austin Simmons and he did with Jackson Dart. We know Lane is at the top of the game coaching quarterbacks.
What is it about Austin Simmons? Describe him for people who have not seen him, both, on the field and between the ears. What do you see from him?
He's a football gym rat type guy, and he was really pushed by Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was a great influence on him, and with what Coach Charlie Weiss and the offensive staff and Lane, what they've done with him, you're going to see a real whip of arm, a bigger arm, maybe the best thrower of the deep ball Ole Miss has ever had. I think Matt Corral probably would just win a long pass contest. Make bigger arm than Eli Manning had, and Austin Simmons is bigger, but a very capable runner, but don't want him running as much as Jackson Dart had to run last year. That was a real deficiency last year, the run game, the traditional run game with running backs, not asking Jackson Dart to bail you out every time. This year, Ole Miss has got to be better running the football with running backs, and really missed Quinshon Judkins last year.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned everybody's talking about the quarterback position at Oxford. They have for years. But what about some other position groups, Brett, that we need to keep an eye on that maybe are getting overlooked?
Offensive line, and it was inept at times last year, and I think it will be a lot better this year. Diego Pound's the biggest and best returnee, but a lot in the portal, including a player from UAB that Ole Miss is really counting on. And also at tight end, and the Luke Hasz injury has really set Ole Miss back at tight end because Lane, to go with two tight ends, he wanted to go with Daquan Wright, who had a great Gator Bowl and one of the catches and throws of the year from Dart in that win over Duke. But so he's going to be limited the first month or so. So it'll be Daquan Wright and kind of fill in the blank from there. And then on defense, not as big a names as last year. Losing Walter Nolan and losing J.J. Pegues, but feel really good about what Pete Golden feels great about what he has in the defensive line. And they've done a lot of it in traditional recruiting with Cam Beavers and Jeffrey Rush and a couple others that came through high school football, old-fashioned way. And then at linebacker, Suntarian Perkins has to have the year that everybody's expecting him to have alongside T.J. Daughtery, who will be the green dot and will be calling all the signals on the defensive side.
First of all, can I comment on what a perfect name for a left tackle? A guy's last name is Pounds. I mean,
you got to back it up, Barry, if you're going to be Diego Pounds. Diego's not a bad name either. Old-fashioned before the widespread legalization of sports wagering. Every book I used to ever call, if you bet on San Diego in the NFL or in baseball, they would call him Diego.
Yes, they sure would. You're right about that, Brett, no doubt. I'm looking at the schedule. Huge part of how that plays out. We talked about it early. In week 2, the only matchup with two SEC teams is Ole Miss at Kentucky. We know what happened last year in Oxford. Little revenge in Lexington for the Rebels, you would imagine. Talk about that game and, of course, how the rest of the schedule sets up, because I could see this schedule being manageable for Lane Kiffin and this team this year.
Well, it looks favorable, but it's more difficult September this year than it was last year. And this time, Kentucky on the road. We know what happened last year. 16-point home favorite lose to Kentucky, and it sends you to the back of the line the rest of the year for the college football playoffs, and ended up, being the one that that one, or pick at LSU or Florida that kept you out. But it was probably Kentucky, and I think Ole Miss will play really well. But a lot of respect that everybody has for Mark Stoops. But John, and I know, we all know that Ole Miss could go to Kentucky and win 90-0, and that will not avenge last year. That one will stay with Ole Miss forever. I said it was the worst home SEC loss in Ole Miss football history last year.
Wow.
But the rest of September is good, it's competitive, but should be favorable with Arkansas at home and a really good Tulane team at home, and then LSU September 27th. And the game 2 years ago in Oxford, down 9 with 5 minutes to go, came back and won in thrilling style. And that was really the rocket ship for Lane at Ole Miss.
Got to ask you, Brett, about a friend of mine, guy I think the world of, a running back who transferred in from Troy named Damian Taylor, who from Northport, Alabama, who ran for 1,000 yards last year for Troy. He is in his last year of eligibility now at Ole Miss. What's the competition room look like for him in that running back room?
Well, it's very competitive, but the best get on the field. Last year really never got a go-to running back, and it really wasn't their fault. It was the Lions' fault. So this year he's in competition with a true freshman, Shakai Mills-Knight, and a couple of others. It's going to be fun back there to see who can separate themselves, because one thing that Lane insists on, you do not fumble. You look at the Ole Miss fumble rate through the Lane Kiffin years. He will not play you if you fumble. And it was what was so good, many things that were so good about Quinshon is Quinshon was so good in blitz pickup. May have missed him last year with that as much as anything late in the game at LSU, coming off the edge, asking Henry Parrish to block a defensive end, what was a mismatch, and it kind of cost Ole Miss the game, and it injured Henry Parrish.
That's
Brett,
a great point.
When Ole Miss fans are tailgating at the Grove, pregame or postgame, are they talking, one day Lane's going to leave us? Do they talk that way? Do they think that's going to happen? Or do they think Lane Kiffin will retire from football in Oxford, Mississippi?
All right, John, I want everybody right now listening to y'all show, however they're listening. If you're in your car, honk your horn if you thought Lane Kiffin would be starting year 6. Put your hand up if you thought Lane Kiffin would be starting year 6. There are no hands up. There's no honking of horns. No. Nobody thought we could get him. Nobody thought we could keep him, and nobody thought he would enter year 6. He's going to leave someday. He is, and I'm telling you, it will be a sad day, because he has delivered for us. And in my years, I'm getting ready to start my 18th year on the Ole Miss crew, and 18 is a real good number in the Ole Miss world.
Matter of fact, I don't think you can drive over 18 miles an hour on campus.
And the significance is because it's my 18th year. It doesn't have anything to do with that redheaded guy from Drew, Mississippi. But Lane, one of these days he will leave. But in my 18 years, I have never dealt with a coach more straight as a pin, direct, to the point, fun to be around. When it's time to be business, it's business. When it's time to backslap, he can do that. He has been great for us. For what Keith Carter has pulled off in the head coaching positions at Ole Miss is really remarkable. And I call it the big 5. Or the big 4 rather. You have to have the head football coach, the head basketball coach, the baseball coach, and the AD, and then if you go to the 5th and have the big 5, you got to have somebody in charge of your collective, and we got every one of those boxes checked at Ole Miss.
Well, let me ask you one more thing about the legacy of Lane Kiffin. And Brett, I agree with every word you've said about Lane. He's been everything that Ole Miss has needed and more, except he hasn't he hasn't played for a championship. Is there a commonality? Is there a common theme that has kept him over the last several years from getting to that point?
Well, we had to slip up last year to Kentucky, lost in overtime to LSU, and then lost the heartbreaker in the 4th quarter down at Florida. Now, the least favorable game of those 3 was really at Florida. All day, it just didn't feel right at Florida. But shoulda, coulda against Kentucky and LSU, but didn't. And this is not a shoulda, coulda business. You guys know it. It's bottom line. And he wanted us to raise our expectations, and now we have. One of my favorite stories about him, it was COVID, so it wasn't many people at the hotel after we won the Outback Bowl his first year, and everybody back at the hotel, we're 5-5, but we're just over the moon. First time we'd been to a bowl game in 4 years and win a bowl game in COVID. We all got the goofy mask on, and we're at the hotel, and he looked at me, he goes, you're not satisfied with this, are you? I went, well, no, it feels pretty good, though. He goes, I better not see any coffee table books about going flipping 5-5. And he didn't say flipping.
I can imagine so. Yeah, I can certainly hear and see that scenario playing out. Brett, what's your favorite uniform combination for the Rebels to wear?
Oh, John, you know I'm old school. I love the powder blue headgear, the navy blue jersey, the gray playing pants. It's even Jack Crystal would describe them at Mississippi State. But the players, the youngsters, they like the different stuff. Ole Miss is really tapped into that. Lane obviously loves the powder blue top. And I promise you, I used to really dig in on stuff like that. I don't care now. If we win, I don't care what they're wearing.
Pre- and post-game work for many years with the Ole Miss Network, afternoons in Memphis on Sportsline 560 WHBQ. Brett, it's always good to see you and pass the time with you. Thanks a bunch.
Love being with you guys. I've told you many times, one of the really neat thing about you two guys, I see y'all at SEC Media Days, and one year I told y'all, I go, y'all really like each other, don't you? And that's rare in sports radio.
Well, we've been together almost 30 years, Brett, so something must be right.
You can tell it, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. Getting an update on the Rebels from Ole Miss. I think that's interesting, Barry. I think Ole Miss fans know one day, someday, Lane Kiffin is going to move on. Could it be to L.A. when Lincoln Riley gets shown the door later
John
this year?
keeps bringing up. There is no way in the world.
Just saying.
He's been hurt before. Yeah. Lots more to come. Our tour of the SEC is underway. As a matter of fact, when we come back, we'll check in with Ole Miss's Week 2 opponent in Lexington with the Big Blue Insider himself, Dick Gabriel. Always enjoy visiting with him. John and I are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov. the capital of dreams.
Okay, we're back at it here on this Friday live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, Northwest Florida, and Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer, where you can get a Ram 1500, Barry, 21 grand off or 3.9% APR for 72 months. We're not talking about 3 or 4.
I was about to say
that you think, oh, they're just trying to move those off the lot. Every Ram 1500 here in front, on the sides, and the rear of the dealership, they've got what you want right here, right now, during the kickoff sales event at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville.
We're right in the showroom, and what we want is some inside information on Kentucky Wildcat football. So we go to our guy in Lexington, the Big Blue insider himself, Dick Gabriel. You can check him out in the evenings on 630 WLAP and also, of course, the Kentucky Network and a whole lot of other stuff. Dick, great to see you. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
We're doing really well. What's the one up to the 13th season now as the head coach for Mark Stoops? What's the overall vibe of preparation heading into the opener against Toledo?
It's a mystery. There are 50 new faces on this team. Wow. And based on, of course, what's happened the last 2 or 3 years, not just last year, fans are restless and concerned and, confused. But fellas, believe it or not, this fall I will, celebrate's the right word, but mark my 50th anniversary of the first football game I ever covered at Kentucky.
Wow.
And if you told me that fans would be restless after back-to-back 7-win seasons, I never would have believed it. Back in the day, 7 wins means you get a statue in a parade in Lexington. And then all of a sudden it's a 4-win season. But when you go back and look at last year, which I've done a lot this summer, over a 3-week period, Kentucky played, believe it or not, as well as any team in America. Held Georgia to a 1-point game, right? Had a shot.
Yeah.
Destroyed Ohio U, which with all due respect was not very good, but destroyed them. And then beat Ole Miss in Oxford, a really good Ole Miss team. And then went straight down. Injuries caught up, and I don't know what else. Puzzling, So now Stoops had to clean house a little bit, and he did.
So, John, take a look here. See this text right here?
I see it.
It says, did Dick begin covering when he was 3?
Wow.
No, I'm pretty sure he wasn't 3 years old 50 years ago. When
I was in college.
That is so good. So, yeah, injuries, obviously, we've talked about that Ole Miss win in Oxford last year. And, of course, that's game number 2, taking on the Rebels. It's the earliest head-to-head matchup between SEC teams in the league. But was it just injuries, Dick, last year? Or was there, maybe a chemistry issue? Or what else do you point towards for Kentucky kind of struggling?
Well, I talked to Stoops about this actually a couple of times, and he said he didn't bring it up last year because he didn't want to make it sound like he was making excuses, which we all appreciate. But I had forgotten they lost 3 starters in spring for the entire year. And then they start getting dinged up like all teams do after that. But they didn't have the depth that they needed to absorb those personnel losses. And that caught up with them. But what else caught up with them, John, was the offensive line just collapsed. And in that Ole Miss game, they still gave up 5 or 6 sacks.
Yeah.
But they were able to overcome them with big plays on offense and defense. Plus, Ole Miss made mistakes. Ole Miss had a lot of penalties. And as you know, they had a lot of all year long. And that was a problem. Plus, Kentucky hits that huge play at the end, the 70-whatever yard pass play to Barry and Brown, which set up a touchdown that won the game, which was unbelievable. So, everything came together in Oxford that day and then fell apart. But I believe it did start with the O-line, which has been almost completely rebuilt.
It's interesting. We noted that before we got you on the air that Kentucky doesn't play Alabama this year. There is local relevance to where we are because Kentucky goes to Auburn November 1st. Zach Calzada, of course, he was a quarterback at Auburn for a little while. He is listed as the starter for Kentucky. Is it his job or is there some hotly contested work going on in the fall?
It is contested, but it is his job to lose right now. Stoops has said if they started today, he would be the starter. This is a crucial season, and you can't blame Stoops for wanting to start a guy who's been hitting the mouth in an SEC game more than once. Not just played in the SEC, but played well. I mean, you know what he did at Texas A&M, beating Alabama, but then at Auburn never got a chance to play because of injury. So he goes to 1AA to Incarnate Word. Good level of football. I've covered a lot of 1AA football. I'm sure you guys have as well.
Yeah.
And put up really good numbers. So it's not like he was sitting and waiting. With all due respect to the kid who started last year, Brock, he waited for his turn to play. And when he got it, he looked good for a while. But then the toll of being just crushed in the back, just spending so much time on his back with the defense on his chest, took its toll. By the end of the season, he couldn't play. But I don't anticipate that this year with this O-line now, and I don't think that'll be the case with Zach Calzada. But the kid backing him up, Cutter Bully, has looked good in practice.
Dick, I'm sure I'm not the only person that has noticed this on the schedule. At South Carolina, at Georgia, Texas and Tennessee come to Lexington, then you go to Auburn, and then Florida shows up for a visit. That's a pretty tough stretch of games Kentucky's got to go through there in the end of September through into October.
Yeah, welcome to the SEC. I mean, it's I can't say it's been like that every year because to me the league's never been tougher. I don't know. I think you guys probably agree. Yeah. And it's not because of the teams at the top; it's the teams at the bottom getting better. A Vanderbilt that can beat an Alabama, a Kentucky that can go on the road and beat Ole Miss. That's how conferences get better. The problem with Kentucky's schedule, forgive me, I'm still getting over COVID. I know I sound cranky. The problem with Kentucky's schedule is the calendar. It's not who they play, it's when they play them.
Yeah.
When you and I were young, a while back, you played 3 or 4 what we used to call directional teams, and then you played your conference games, and you were ready for that, or you were better prepared for that. Now, as you guys point out, you jump right in with not just conference, well, they're all big, but games against what we in Lexington like to call the swing games. You're going to have a tough time beating a Texas or an Alabama or whatever, but you've been able to compete with the South Carolinas, the Ole Misses, and teams like that. And those are the games that turn your program around. When Stoops was winning 10 games a year, he was beating those teams. But of late, he's had trouble with them.
Dick, if I were to get a knee-jerk reaction from you, a top-of-your-head reaction by asking you who just off the top of your head occurs to you or maybe the 3 best football players at the University of Kentucky, what would your immediate reaction be?
Well, I'll tell you this. The kid that I'm to I think more directly answer your question, the kid I'm looking forward to seeing is not the quarterback, and he is one of them, and not the running backs. It's the nose guard. David Gusta. He transferred in from Washington State. Had a chance to meet him on media day. Really interesting kid. But one of the reasons I bring that up, guys, is because every player I've talked to on both sides of the ball has mentioned David Gusta because in the weight room, and they put out those videos, right, of everybody celebrating when a kid moves some iron. He benched 225, 38 reps.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah. That's just legendary, according to these kids I've talked to. Our color analyst on the Kentucky Network was a wide receiver, Jeff Picoro.
Yeah.
I had him on my radio show, and he goes, I benched 4. So I want to see how
that's inhuman.
Yeah. I want to see how this kid dominates on the D-line, if he can, because, if he commands double teams, then it makes it easier for everybody else. I want to see how the O-line operates. And there were there's at least 4 of them will be new starters.
Yeah.
Including a kid who played both at Florida and Arkansas. And a kid who's 6'8", who came from New Mexico State, the same program that produced Diego Pavia and had the OC who went to Vanderbilt. But then, of course, I want to see Zach Calzada because I watched him at A&M beat Alabama. I want to see what he can do as a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback.
Dick, what's the buzz with the Kentucky fans? What are their expectations for this fall?
They're low for the first time in a long time. I think Vegas has Kentucky's over and under on wins 4.5, and a lot of people are taking the 4 because you know how it is. It's recency bias. They know what they saw last year, but I think they also realize in an abstract way that this is not the same team. There will be new starters everywhere. And it's an odd kind of Kentucky defense in that for several years, when I've talked to you, I've told you that the D-line and linebackers are solid, and we don't know about the defensive secondary. Flip that. The secondary is the strongest part of defense now. The biggest question marks are up front and the linebackers because of all the new faces. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll be okay on defense. It all starts with the O-line. And if they cannot protect the quarterback again, if they're not the big blue wall of the past, they'll have a terrible year.
Are they making comments like there could be a new coach on the sideline this time next year?
I think a lot of people believe Stoops is on the hot seat. Mitch Barnhart, the athletics director, addressed that directly. He didn't say yes or no, but he said, and he's proven this to be the case through the years, and he's been here a long time. Well, yeah. Stoops and Barnhart are the respective deans of the SEC at their jobs, believe it or not. But Barnhart says, I've never worked that way. And, there's no set number of wins. But I used to watch Barnhart on the sideline when he was watching Kentucky during the Joker Phillips era. And he could see that they were going backwards. They had a bad year last year, yeah, but I don't think the program itself is going backwards. But they got to get better. He said, we need to see improvement. And he's right. You can't afford, literally, as an AD and SEC AD, to let your football program die on the vine. That's your moneymaker.
It's still so interesting to me because, Dick, of course, I do the play-by-play on the radio for Troy University, and I was up in Milwaukee doing the play-by-play when Troy played Kentucky in basketball. And I know it. We broadcast from Rupp Arena before. I get it. I've seen Kentucky football. I've seen them all and everything. But it's still, it is daunting when you see Big Blue Nation in its entirety at a basketball venue. It's still very much a basketball school at Kentucky, but the power of the Big Blue Nation cannot be understated. No. I'm telling you.
No, you're right. You've seen it firsthand, Barry, and I will tell you, having worked at Troy, when Stoops was really struggling last year, the name they kept bringing up from fans was John Sumrall.
Yeah,
which is understandable. He's doing a great job now. Did it at Troy, at Tulane. Certainly. Popular guy, great guy. Covered his games. But the Big Blue Nation, I've always said this, guys. Kentucky fans cannot wait to love Kentucky football. They want in on SEC football. And I was a producer for the SEC radio network for 15 years. I worked 15 straight SEC championship games. And you guys know that's one of the greatest sporting events literally in the world. And I so want, not as a fan, not as a media member, I just want Kentucky fans to get a little piece of that, to experience that just once in their lifetime and just know what it's like to be in that dome and hear that noise and maybe be in Atlanta for that whole week and be a part of that. There's nothing better, really. I love the Final Four, but having all of that compacted into one afternoon in Atlanta is just sensational. And, they won it so badly, and they flirted with it twice under Stoops. Everyone went away a couple times. So, and now that they've done away with divisions, it's going to be even harder. But, the BBN, man, they won it.
Yeah.
I reserve all rights to be able to use that quote later on during our show. The Big Blue Nation cannot wait to fall in love with Kentucky football. I think that's perfect.
I agree. No doubt.
They flirted with it. They have flirted with it a couple times.
Yeah, I have.
And the administration, it's not like, they're pumping money into this football program.
Facilities. It's interesting.
You know what they're doing besides facilities? They're paying assistant coaches. And that's something that didn't happen here in the past. When Bill Curry came here, his two coordinators would have lost money to come here. That really hurt him when he was building a staff. Believe it or not, his offensive and defensive coordinators, I can't remember who his special teams guy was, but, it was made more financial sense for them to go elsewhere. That doesn't happen now. In fact, if anything, it might overpay. But, again, life in the SEC.
This is great stuff. Dick Gabriel, the Big Blue Insider. So much fun to visit with you, and we also gain a lot of intel and information. Always appreciate the time. Good luck to you.
Thanks, fellas. Good talking to you.
You as well, Dick. We'll do it again soon. Great information. and analysis as we continue our tour around the SEC, previewing the Kentucky Wildcats. I got to tell you, and Dick's going to, you're not going to sugarcoat it.
He'll let you know. Yeah.
He's covered Kentucky for 50 years, as he mentioned. It's a big year. They're over their win total 4.5. A lot of people aren't thinking they can get there. That gauntlet of games, Barry, that I mentioned, South Carolina.
He made a good point about that. It's not only the games themselves.
Yep.
It's where they are in the schedule.
Yeah, no doubt. Open up with Toledo at home. They got Ole Miss at home week 2, Eastern Michigan at home. So their first 3 are at home. Then they have an off week. Then they're at South Carolina, at Georgia, another off week. Texas comes to Lexington. Tennessee comes to Lexington. Then they go to Auburn. And then Florida comes to Lexington. That's a pretty tough gauntlet of games for anybody.
And then they close at Vanderbilt and then at Louisville. And that's one of the more understated rivalries in college football these days as well. Our tour of the SEC is underway,
yes,
John.
It is.
Man, it's underway with a bang. So we're going to get into a lot of it next week and the week after, getting into really the start of, camp,
Yep.
The start of game week and all that is coming up in just a couple of weeks. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We are in the showroom at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River Region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Got some great news for you today. Not only here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where the kickoff sales event is underway, but Barry, you've informed me that, the Atlanta Braves won yesterday.
They did.
Wow, how about
they
that?
did. Wonders never cease. The Braves got 2 home runs from the rookie catcher. If there's a bright spot in the team this year, other than when the season finally ends, it's been the play of Drake Baldwin. He may be the rookie of the year in the National League. Rookie catcher, 2 home runs yesterday, 5 RBIs. Still don't get seduced by all that. Braves end up winning. They beat the lowly Miami Marlins in Atlanta. I'd love to know the attendance. 8-6 was the final score. That brings the Braves, I think it ends a 5-game losing streak. It's at least 3 because they got swept. That brings the Braves to 17 games out of first place in the division and gets them up to only 18 games under 500. Think about it. The Braves could win the next 18 games and they'd be a 500 team.
Barry, when is the last time on August the 8th or 7th, what is today, 8th, that the Braves have been, what'd you say, 17 games out of first place?
What did I say?
18 games under 500, something.
Oh, yeah, 17 out of first. That's what I messed up on. 17 games out of first, 18 games under 500.
I mean, this is like pre-1992.
There's no doubt.
Woo.
This is like, this is like the
Oh.
Pocoroba, Pat Rocket, Roland Office, Claudel Washington kind of year.
Yeah, but this is like powder
Yeah, see?
blue uniforms with the lowercase a.
Baldwin's been great. He really has.
Look at that. Ooh, empty seats in outfield there, Barry. Uh-oh, look at those empty seats. John, what's the deal?
Yeah, that's Arzuna right there.
What's with the yellow sleeve?
Yeah, he likes that. Ozuna, John, he may get traded. If you want to deal somebody, I'd deal him. He's what's known as a designated hitter
Oh,
playing
okay.
in the National League.
I am so glad that I that I know that now. What, 3.5 years after the fact? Took me that long to realize there was no more designated hitter in the National League.
Now we're waiting for the moment. It's 3.5 years before he gains the knowledge. Yesterday on the show, John says, if the National League would ever wise up and get the designated hitter, and I told the viewers, I said, when John got done, I said, I want everybody to know that I don't think that I don't know and didn't catch that. But yes, there already is a designated hitter in the National League. So John, after 3.5 years, now knows about the designated hitter. What will take a long, long, long amount of time in the future is for John to care.
Yeah,
That there is a designated hitter in the National League. This is the same phenomenon with him. I always bring back a guy named, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. The old head coach at Western Kentucky.
Ooh.
The old head football. His first name's David.
Is that in Bowling Green?
Yes, I remember. I remember his first name. His name was David. He didn't end up.
I don't remember him either since he kind of talked, put me in my place. Told me to do a little research or homework or something.
Do a little homework, guys. And I said, Coach, it's very important that you know that I know that Bowling Green is not in Bowling Green. I cannot think of his last name. David somebody.
Yeah.
But anyway, John says, is it difficult to fight for, media attention with Bowling Green State, which is in Bowling Green, Ohio. Western Kentucky is in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I said, Coach, it's important for me that you know that I know I've actually done games in Bowling Green, Ohio and Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yeah.
That I know the difference. And he said, come on, guys, do a little research. And he was laughing about it. It was no big
he
deal.
was.
And so afterwards, my point is, for those people that said, man, John, he shouldn't have been so mean to you and everything. And John says, he said, if he was any good, I mean, it's not my fault that I don't know where Western Kentucky is.
Exactly.
Heck, it's their fault for not being good enough to make me care.
Boom. Exactly.
He said, I don't care that I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were any good, then maybe I would, but they don't. They're not, and I don't.
Yeah. I mean, do you think when we went to
It's his
commercial
fault?
break that I went, oh, Barry, I cannot believe I did that.
I am so
I will not be
embarrassed.
able to sleep tonight.
Yeah. John said, well,
Did that guy
maybe
just
if
try,
they were any good, maybe then I'd pay attention.
I mean,
to
I'm thinking, did that guy just try to show me up?
David
come
Elson
on.
is his name. I know I just popped in here.
Wonder where
Here's
he
a
is
good
today.
and Robbie is in late with his NFL recap, which we've already been through, Robbie. If you'd wake up at 7, you wouldn't have to rehash it all. We'll get to that because it impacts the Phantom Staley dog coming up in about 25 minutes.
That's right.
But we were talking earlier today in the first segment about Auburn. Auburn is scrimmaging today.
Mm-hmm.
John was asking about will Jackson Arnold be leaving the scrimmage with an air of confidence. Famously, early in camp, Hugh Freeze said that he wants Jackson Arnold to be a confident quarterback, and towards that, they're going to script some things in practice and in reps and in the scrimmage just to help him with his confidence, which everybody kind of jumped on and said, wait a minute, shouldn't he just play? Shouldn't he just compete his brains out? And if he plays well, he'll be confident. If he doesn't, he won't. Instead of all that's fine. All that's good. Jason Caldwell says, the defense has the upper hand in these things because they practice against these plays. But Bob from Pike Road makes a really good point about it.
Okay.
He said, why did Freeze even say anything about it in the first place?
wonder
Bob
that
says,
too.
I truly believe it was a mistake on Coach Freeze's part to state that confidence line to the media. Just hard to justify. You don't have to tell everything, especially to the media. That may be the basic point of the whole thing. If you're doing that, if you're scripting things to try to make your quarterback more confident and give him some success, Why are you telling everybody about
Yeah,
it?
I'm with you there. Bob, great point.
That
Bob.
is a very
I'm
good
give
point.
You,
That's
kudos for that, Bob.
That
That's
boiled
a good
the
one.
whole issue down to its essence, right there.
I don't get it. I'm an old school guy. I can promise you Charles Lee wasn't scripted plays to boost my confidence.
There wasn't much that he did to boost John's confidence.
I can definitely tell you that. But hey, I learned from it. Became a better person because I had to get up off the ground and do it again. There again, at this scrimmage today at Auburn, I want to see a pick six. I want to see a sack.
A scoop and score.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see this guy be able to do something in adversity. Things aren't going his way. He's got to make something happen, make something out of nothing, if you will. I don't look. I've never been a college. Well, I have been a college coach for one afternoon, an assistant coach.
Yes, exactly
at
right.
an 8A game.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess that does kind of count.
Yep.
But
with his coaching compatriot Kirby Smart, who they had to have a new paint job in the locker room at halftime because he peeled it all in the spring game.
But that steak sure was good. Anyway, but I just don't know if I would have said that.
Well, people kind of thought that same thing last year with Kalen DeBoer about Jalen Milroe. And boy, people are dog cussing Jalen Milroe. When he said, Jalen gives us the best chance to win. The things that he stands for, the things that he does, we think, are
Coach
the things we need to stick with. And all the Bama fans are going, why are you saying that? Stop it. Get somebody else. Milroe won 9 games last year. He was, I want to say, a top 10 Heisman finisher. So here, John asked earlier today, he said, what's changed after last year's 9-win, 4-loss team, lost in a bowl game and just walked through it? John, to this day, I don't think he's kidding, cannot remember what that bowl game was or where it was played.
I know it was in the state of Florida.
That's good enough for me.
I know it kicked off early, which also bugged me. It was like an 11 o'clock kick, but I can't tell you where it was.
John, and so, again, it's difficult to be a confident quarterback at Alabama unless you lift in that trophy because John said, what's changed at Alabama since that 9-4 season? And boom, here we go. Bob from Pike Road, 2 things changed. Milroe's gone. And Grubb at offensive coordinator, big changes.
And JJ from Atlanta said something similar.
JJ jumped in. Didn't jump in just a little bit quickly. He said, hey, guys, no Milroe. That's the change.
I got to tell you.
No wonder his confidence was shot. Maybe DeBoer needed to boost his confidence. Because the dang Bama fans weren't.
Maybe JJ and Bob were on this anti-Milroe kick last fall. I can't remember, but I know Tobias was. Tobias and I were really the leaders of the band when it came to they're not going to win with Milroe. I mean, Barry, I can distinctly remember before the season, Alabama is not going to win the national championship with Jalen Milroe at quarterback. This is right after they'd gotten beat by Michigan in the Rose Bowl in a playoff and were, 3 yards away from going to the national championship game. Bad snap, whatever, had to pick it up off the ground.
Sure.
People were just, they were just spitting at me. What do you mean they can't win a national title with Milroe? There again, I might pat myself on the back. I just saw something. I said, the guy's a great athlete, not a great quarterback. Now, of course, they played last night for Seattle. We're going to get into that more in a minute. He did play the entire second half. I think he was 6 of 10.
That's what I wanted to know. Robbie points out something that we already went over ad infinitum in the first segment. Milroe played the entire second half, and they tied the game. Yeah, we know.
And I believe he was. We'll look at the box score at the next break. I believe he was 6 of 10 last night. Maybe for a guy that plays the entire second half, he only threw 10 passes. I mean, that seems a little low for an NFL team.
Yeah.
But hey, he was 6 of 10, 60%. That's it. Hey, if you're betting football, the 60% is pretty good.
Well, as John knows, because he towed that line quite a lot in high school and college, 60% is a passing grade.
It is.
Yeah. John's not praying and rubbing his rabbit's foot saying, give me a 99, give me a 98, give me 100. No, he said, give me a 61.
If I walked into an exam at the University
of Alabama
in my first go round, and the professors, I had a professor one time that did this. I'm thinking, what, really? Are you doing this? I actually prepped, did a little study. We get in there, and the guy goes, like 10 minutes in, he goes, if y'all are happy with the grade you have right now,
John immediately he immediately puts his foot in the aisle.
And you don't want to take the exam, you can, like a 73 or so. I said, I'm done. Yeah, I walked up there and handed that thing in.
He's getting a tea time faster than Hugh Freeze after a scrimmage.
No kidding. And people are going, wait a minute, don't you want to help? Don't you want to try to do better and it'll help your GPA? I went, what? GPA? I've already gotten initiated. I made my 2.2.
Here's the deal. I ain't making Phi Beta Kappa. No. It ain't like I'm in contention.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my GPA up. Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it. So, yeah, but we'll see. And there again, I've got to see it with my own two eyes. I know people don't want to hear that. Oh, I'm hearing too many good things. Barry, we've been covering college football for a long time. There's a lot of giddiness in August. It's amazing the way people feel in August compared to the way they feel in September.
Yep.
So now, just I'm just saying, I think it's going to be an exciting year. Do I think Alabama's got a chance to be one of the teams that makes it to Atlanta? Yes, I do think they got a chance. Most everybody else does too. But I think those other 8 teams, we talk about the top 4 that everybody's on: Texas, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Then you got the bottom 4: Mississippi State, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. Then you got those other 8. I think of those 8 teams, they're going to really shape and determine what happens with the 2 teams that make it to Atlanta in December. I think possibly 1 or maybe 2 of those teams out of that group of 8 could make it. Probably not, but they could. But I think they're going to have a lot to say with who does make it to Atlanta.
Now, Bama will make it, Bob from Pike Road and JJ, by subtraction because they won't have Milroe. I think you got to go a little bit more than that. We're talking about the same Jalen Milroe. Some people I know are big time into passing efficiency and QBR. Jalen Milroe last year, 5th in the league in pass efficiency rating, ahead of Carson Beck at Georgia, ahead of Garrett Nussmeier of LSU, ahead of Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee. You're glad you don't have, but again, behind Peyton Thorne and behind Quinn Ewers.
I'm going to see if you can look this up for us quickly, Barry, but I'm going to get to Bama's quarterback first.
All right.
I think you're going to see better overall quarterback play from Alabama this year. Milroe was an unbelievable athlete. I'm watching some of that Netflix series that you've been talking about all week last night.
Yeah, any given Saturday.
I skipped around a little bit because I wanted to see the Vanderbilt part with Clark Lee, which was amazing.
Yes.
But this guy, he is all in on Vanderbilt.
I'm telling you, Clark Lee, one of the most impressive facets about the entire 7-episode series, and I haven't seen all 7, on Netflix. Clark Lee is a star. Now, Pavia seems like a little bit of a jerk. But then again, you already knew that.
Yeah.
But, man,
so
Lee is impressive as hell.
I enjoyed that. And then I'm watching the LSU segment when they're playing Alabama. And I forgot about how big of a route that game was. But it was all Jalen Milroe. He's running all over LSU.
Of course, they also made the point in that series, as well, that was the first episode, LSU's defense was horrible.
No doubt about it. And but I think you're going to see it. You're not going to see the quarterback running all over the place in Tuscaloosa. So are you going to have a Mac Jones, Jake Coker, A.J. McCarron kind of guy? Yeah, I do think you are. Rodney Orr talked a little bit about that yesterday. But I think Bama fans, and I think they know that, it's going to be a totally different quarterback look with Ty Simpson. Other guys get in there, it could be a little different. All right. Also, QBR, you mentioned it.
Yes.
Can you tell me and our viewing and listening audience what college quarterback has the highest rated QBR coming into this season?
Ooh.
I saw that somewhere earlier this week. I wish I would have copied and pasted it because they had some QBR ratings. They had them all listed. And if I'm not mistaken, Barry, the quarterback with the highest QBR rating is the quarterback that Auburn will be facing in their week 1 game in Waco, Texas. And I thought, ooh, that's interesting. Now, some people have discounted QBR ratings over the years.
Yes, unless Bo Nix was going to be really, really good at it.
But the thing that I like about QBR ratings, and Bo Nix is my go-to, he had a low QBR rating. I mean, it was like in the 80s. And then he makes some moves, makes some career changes, heads out west to the Pacific Northwest, and that QBR rating is in the top 10. I mean, I am blown away by how Bo Nix was able to get his game back in order.
People think that Bo went to Oregon so he could study. And by the way, he all took online courses at Oregon. I don't think he ever went into a classroom. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
So he didn't go necessarily for the coursework. He didn't go necessarily for the great scenery or anything. He went there because he saw their offensive line.
Yes, and they filmed an Animal House there.
Well, and which is
so. The quarterback at Baylor.
Okay, let's see.
And I can't recall his name off the top of my head. And I'm kind of doing this on the fly because I saw it earlier in the week.
Okay.
Number 1 QBR rating. Now, what is that worth? I don't really know. I don't know what the data, the matrix that go in to the computer and the numbers get all jumbled up and you come up with the best QBR rating. But obviously, this young man is pretty talented.
His name is Sawyer Robertson. He began, he began at Mississippi State. Then he transferred to Baylor. And he threw for 2,600 yards.
Wow.
I don't know about the national
2,600
ranking. Yeah. But his rating was 155, which is, I'll tell you right now, is pretty doggone good. By the way, Sawyer Robertson, quarterback at Baylor, is the cousin of former Auburn quarterback Jared Stidham.
Really?
True story.
How about that?
True story.
That is pretty good.
And he would
Sawyer Brown. No, that's a country act.
That's Sawyer Roberts.
And TJ Finley, you want to know what his? I do not know what TJ Finley's
college du jour is,
or his QBR rating.
I don't need. Yeah.
So wait a minute. Curtis on our River Region Straw chat line, no way, is in Tuscaloosa? Wait a minute. Curtis is a big all. No way you're in Tuscaloosa today.
Surely you're not living there. Surely things haven't got, well.
Yeah.
We have got a lot to get to on the program today. Coming up in just a moment, the Phantom's daily dog. It was pretty good for him yesterday, if you must know. Also, a little bit more about the upcoming schedule. John is a schedule geek.
Yes.
He likes taking a look at that. Opening week of the college football season. Well, the opening big week. I think it bears repeating. One of the great stretches on Labor Day weekend in the history of college football. We'll tell you about that.
We will. Also, Barry, last night I was in a discussion with some folks. People asked me about, am I in favor of an 8 or 9 game conference schedule in the SEC? I think.
Were they people that you had never met before?
Well, they're not friends of mine. Maybe they just hadn't heard my, thoughts about it. But I certainly gave it to them.
Of course.
And I said, well, yeah, I do think we're going to a 9-game schedule. I'm in favor of it. I think the TV networks are really in favor of it. They want a bigger inventory of really good games to choose from. But I also want to keep the quality non-conference game. I want it all. And I think it's been a big part of college football success. I think it's been a big part of the SEC success, playing good intersectional games. I also mentioned the possibility of some of the rivalries disappearing. Now, you're going to have the Iron Bowl. The Auburn-Alabama game is not going anywhere, but there has been some talk over the years that Alabama-Tennessee could be in jeopardy. Auburn and Georgia could be in jeopardy. I personally, Barry, don't think that's going to happen, but those conversations have happened.
Some of those secondary rivalries that have already gone. I still lament the loss of Auburn, Florida and Auburn, Tennessee. That was a great rivalry. I've been, some of those games will not happen. That's just because of logistics. I mean, you cannot, there are two main reasons why. One of them I call the Nick Saban reason. The other one I call the John Longshore reason. Two of the great thinkers and shapers of college football. Nick Saban thought we were going to go to a 9-game schedule, and he liked it because he said he thinks that every 4 or 5 year college student athlete should have the experience of playing at least once in his career every other school in the league. I can't remember some of the ones. John would point out, I don't know, Texas A&M and Georgia.
Georgia's never played there.
Yeah, they've never played in College Station. That's a travesty. That is one. So, I mean, you want to have that. That's one reason why I think a lot of people like to have it, is just for variety. As much as it's not the same ones, and so therefore you've got to get rid of some of the secondary main rivalries to get some of the other ones. The other one, the John Longshore reason why they may go to a 9-game conference schedule, he's already said it. It's because the TV networks
want it. So I'm trying to do the math in my head on the fly here, Barry. So let's take Auburn and Alabama.
Yes.
You keep the Iron Bowl game every year. So that's the let's just say that's the 9th conference game, which it would be. It's the last game of the year. That's your 9th conference game, the Iron Bowl. Auburn and Alabama are going to play every year. The other 8 games that you're going to play in a 2-year period, 4 of them at home, 4 of them away. You flip it the next year. 4 at home, 4 away. Then in years 3 and 4, you're playing the other 8 teams. 4 at home, 4 away, and you flip-flop it the next year. Is my math right there?
That would work. In other words, he's not saying 8 entirely new teams. He's saying the 4 teams that you played in 1 year at home, you'll play those 4 teams on the road the next year, and then presumably in 2 years.
In years 3 and 4, that 4-year cycle, you're going to play 4 and 4.
Right.
And flip them the next 3. So you'll play everybody. You'll still play the Iron Bowl, but you'll get everybody else in the league home and away in a 4-year period. That would eliminate Alabama, Tennessee every year. That would eliminate Auburn, Georgia every year.
But would you, Bama fan or Auburn fan, would you be willing to go to a 9-game schedule if that means that you 1 year might end up playing Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Arkansas at home, and you'll miss out on Florida and Texas and Georgia and
that could certainly happen.
LSU.
I mean, mathematically,
you can't play the top teams every year in a 9-game
and I'm sure the league would try to do all they could to make the placement as even as they possibly could and whatnot. What I like about it, Barry, and I know old-time guys, it's kind of like talking about uniform changes.
Yes.
They don't want to lose the South's oldest continuous football rivalry.
The oldest continuous rivalry in the Deep South.
They don't want to lose the 3rd Saturday in October. I get all that. But wouldn't it be kind of cool if Texas was coming into Auburn, Oklahoma was coming into Tuscaloosa, Florida was coming into Auburn, Auburn's going to Gainesville, Alabama's playing Georgia on a more regular basis, playing Florida. To me, the variety is so much better. I mean, I know the O-line folks don't want to lose Tennessee. They don't want to lose Georgia. It's like Brett Norsworthy said about Ole Miss and their uniforms. It just doesn't matter to me anymore. I want the best rotation and variety of games I can get. And if I get a Vandy, Kentucky on my schedule 1 year, man, so be it. That's just me.
It's just contrary to everything I thought I knew about. John likes the tried and true. Is he watching whatever the Bond movie was with the guy who had diamonds in his face and the ice hotel and everything?
That was Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
Yeah.
Is he going to watch?
Pierce Brosnan's worst outing, no
doubt. Or
is
he, given a choice, is he going to watch that, or is he going to watch Live and Let Die? He's going to watch Live and Let Die every time. But in terms of SEC football, John says, well, I want some variety.
I want variety.
Give me those little 8 packs of breakfast cereal where you got sugar corn pops and you got sugar smacks and you got Fruit Loops. And then you got
Apple Jacks.
Yeah, but then you also on the other side
Raisin
Bran, or Kicks or something like that. Give me Count Chocula every time.
Yeah.
He
Now,
does
Barry,
not want variety.
There are parts of that Brosnan movie that are pretty good. Not the whole movie, but there are parts and sections of it that are pretty good. You can say that about a lot of Bond movies, as a matter of fact. But
Just like the one with Denise Richards where, he said, I only thought Christmas came once a year. Stuff like that.
That's a good line.
That is a good line.
That was a good one, too.
Yeah, so.
I think Tobias says the solution is having protected rivalries. I just don't know if you can do that, Tobias, in this format. Auburn, Alabama, you're going to protect that. Georgia, Florida, you're going to protect that.
Right.
What other big rivalries are there in the SEC that you would need to protect?
Texas, Oklahoma.
Texas A&M. I don't know if Texas and Oklahoma are going to play every year.
See, that's a good point. The Arkansas, LSU is a big deal, but it's not as big a deal to LSU.
See, Barry, I think you got Texas A&M, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, but the rest of the league's going, well, we don't care. We don't have a rivalry like that. We'd rather play this rotation, and we'd rather play this 8 here and 8 there kind of thing. So, and then, the networks probably won't. They're going to want Texas and Texas A&M. They're going to want Auburn, Alabama.
They're going to insist.
They're going to want Florida, Georgia. They'd love to have Alabama, Tennessee, and Alabama, Georgia, but they're probably thinking, okay, well, we'll get a little give and take here. I don't know. Well, let me tell you about what's going on here at the kickoff sales event at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Give them a chance, and you will take home an incredible vehicle at a great price.
The Jeep lineup, Barry, the 2025 Jeep Compass, $6,000 off. You can take up to $14,000 off a Jeep Wrangler and $11,000 off a Jeep Cherokee. Of course, the Jeep Grand Cherokees also in stock, loaded for you as well.
Right there, right within John's arm's reach is a Jeep Wrangler.
Yes, it is.
Right by his right shoulder is a Jeep Wrangler that is burnt orange. Any Longhorn fans out here?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Rubicon.
Yeah, it's not Tennessee orange, thank gosh.
Yeah.
It's not.
That is Texas orange.
It is Texas orange.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm telling you, John's telling you about the deals, and it ain't just on one or two. They have got your vehicle here, and the styling and the color and the price that you insist upon.
They really do. The kickoff sales event going on right now, right here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Come by and see them here today. Tomorrow, weather's beautiful. So many vehicles on the lot for you to check out in the front of the dealership, on the sides, in the rear. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Nobody does it better than our friends here at Stivers in Prattville.
We are in the showroom. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, welcome back in. Glad you are with us here on this edition of Longshore and McKnight. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Tell all your friends about it. Of course, you can check us out at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. Watch video there. You can check out the write-up about the program each and every afternoon. Also on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, Apple iTunes, Spotify.
Yep.
So many ways to listen to our show, to watch us as well. We really appreciate it. And, man, we really appreciate all the response we've been getting about it.
Well, yesterday there were 3 games in the National Football League. Preseason games.
True.
Didn't count in the standings or anything. Preseason.
It's football.
It is football.
It is football.
And I still feel bad. John, didn't feel bad whenever the Western Kentucky coach pointed out that they're in Bowling Green, Ohio. That they're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, not Bowling Green, Ohio.
Yep.
I got to admit, I felt a little bad. I felt a little shamed on Wednesday when I asked Josh Harris, our moneyline magician, I said, have you ever bet on an NFL preseason game? He looked at me like he had never seen me before. Like, John,
are you really?
Is he kidding? Yes.
Okay.
So evidently that does happen. The Phantom has really, really done well in the spring and summer without NFL football, without college football. Major League Baseball, the Phantom has traditionally, in his Phantom's Daily Dog, been really good in the NBA, particularly in the NBA playoffs. But now we're starting to get a little mix in of preseason NFL football. Yesterday was the first crack at it. There were 3 games. Today, there are 2.
There are?
No, 3. Yeah, 3. And then tomorrow, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy smokes. A jillion people, like 8 or 9 games tomorrow.
That's right.
But the Phantom, all eyes on him. What is it Paul Simon wrote? A nation turned its lonely eyes to him in his Phantom's Daily Dog. And he did go to the NFL preseason yesterday.
Yeah, we did. And very interesting about yesterday, we touched on this. All 3 home teams were underdogs.
Seahawks, defending Super Bowl champion Eagles, and the Ravens.
That's right. All 3 were underdogs. All 3 won the game outright.
See, I can't figure that out. And for this one, just for example, in Seattle, 5.5. I mean, it's not like a 1.5, 2, something like that. There were 6.5, 5.5, 6. There were some pretty hefty lines.
Yep, there were some pretty hefty lines. You're right about that.
Okay.
The Seattle Seahawks were an underdog last night of 4.5 points. 4.5 points.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of points. They did not win the game, but they did not lose the game either. I got to admit, if you would have asked me yesterday, Barry, hey, John, can an NFL preseason game end in a tie? My response would have said, Barry, I do not know. I got to look that one up.
My response would have been, no. Well, of course not. Why do you have a game where you sell tickets, and you do sell tickets, and you have fans, and the guys are wearing jerseys and painting their face for a preseason game? Why do you risk sending them home with nothing?
With a tie. Well, last night.
But I would have been wrong.
The Seattle Seahawks and the Las Vegas Raiders, their game ended in a tie. Hate it for them, but I was catching 4.5 with the home team and the Seattle Seahawks, who had Jalen Milroe play the entire second half.
6 of 10.
6 of 10.
38 yards, 61 yards passing.
How about those numbers?
38 yards rushing, 99 yards of total offense and a half for a guy making his NFL debut. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Tied the game. We're catching 4.5. Winner. We're cashing our ticket in today. Just to let everybody know, Barry, guaranteed of another winning week. We've already had 3 wins this week, 2 in baseball, 1 in the NFL preseason, but we're not stopping there. We're not stopping there, Barry. We're going for a game to go 4 out of 5 this week And this game, mark it down. You might have to set your phone. Is Saturday night, tomorrow night. You know, we have the luxury on Fridays to have Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Right.
Where are we going to find our best game, our best value?
Sure.
We're going to Saturday night, Barry, 7:30 Central Time. That's 5:30 on the West Coast. This game will be taking place in Santa Clara, California, where the home team San Francisco 49ers are a 6.5-point underdog against the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix and the Broncos coming into San Francisco. We like the 49ers plus the 6.5 at home, taking on Denver. Write that one down.
San Francisco.
Yep.
They hate it when you call them Frisco, by the way.
I know
San Francisco. Okay.
Yep. Hosting Denver on Saturday night.
If you're watching the game last night, the return of Pete Carroll to Seattle, where he coached the Seahawks to a Super Bowl appearance, and if he hadn't gone brain dead on the goal line and throw the ball instead of handing it to Marshawn and taking that W, he would have won a Super Bowl. But it was 23-23. Former Auburn kicker Daniel Carlson lines up at the horn for a 55-yard field goal. The Phantoms looking in there and knock yourself out.
Yeah.
You know, hey, give yourself a little treat. You know, it's like tipping, putting something on the Underhill's bill.
That's right.
Sure, go ahead.
Knock
Kick the
yourself
field goal, get the win, nice touchy-feely. Don't matter to me.
No.
I'm covering either way.
Well, unless it gets blocked and it goes back the other way.
But it did get blocked. Now that you mentioned that, it did get blocked. Jalen Barnes blocked it, covered it, ends up in a tie.
You know what, that thing bounced around and
I
scoop
didn't
and score.
think about that.
Oh.
The Phantom would have been like, no, wait. Yeah. Oh.
That's like speaking of Pete Carroll, Barry, that's like the first year of overtime in college football. Because they used to end in ties.
They did.
In college.
Yeah.
And
as a matter of fact, the Iron Bowl, the history of the Iron Bowl, if you want to take a look, the Iron Bowl history is Alabama 51 wins, Auburn 37 wins, one tie.
One tie.
One.
I believe Pete
tie.
Carroll was at Southern Cal, Barry, and they are playing Arizona State. And they are laying 12.5. And the game goes to overtime.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no problem. I got this game won. I have got Arizona State plus the 12.5. I'm winning this game.
Look, where's my cigar clipper? Have you seen my cigar clipper? Yeah.
I am winning this game. And I can remember it. It's games like this you don't forget. It's kind of like the Reggie Miller 3 threes and 13-second game. I am in Bryant-Denny Stadium in the press box. Bama's playing, but I'm more concerned about this game. This game's live. Well, so is this one. But this one's in front of me.
If it makes you feel any better, everybody else in the press box was doing exactly the same thing. Every head there was turned towards the in-box monitor.
I'm watching Southern Cal and Arizona State. But I'm thinking, okay, overtime, no big deal. First year, I'm catching 12.5, I'm good. Southern Cal gets the ball first, runs a couple of plays, scores, kicks the extra point, up 7-0. So what? Big deal. No big deal. Arizona State gets the ball, Barry. One's a play, maybe two. Little out route, boom. Trojan defender steps in front of it, goes the whole way.
John Singh going slow.
I did not factor that in. Southern Cal wins the game by 13.
Yeah.
Laying 12.5.
13. Which, as your local man will tell you, 12.5 will never equal 13.
So I say that, well, just to bring up a bad memory. Here's another game I'm going to be interested in, Barry. just to see is it bad? Is it going to be as bad as I think it's going to be? Sunday afternoon, I will not be in front of a TV, I hope, on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. But the New Orleans Saints will be in L.A., taking on the Chargers of Los Angeles. I did hear yesterday that the Chargers starting left offensive tackle left the field on a cart, slamming his helmet on the side of the car.
Yeah,
I think
I saw that.
Blew out his knee. So maybe
he had just signed an extension.
Yes, a big one. And maybe that makes the Chargers a little tentative on who they're going to play on Sunday afternoon. Who knows? Could that put the Saints in a better light to possibly win a preseason game? We'll see. Who knows? But you might want to think about that because, Barry, the Saints are a road favorite in that game against the Chargers, who blew out Detroit last week.
Who's going to – will it be Tyler Shuck? Will it be Spencer Rattler? Is Ian Book still play for the Saints? Remember him?
I do.
Who's going to run that team?
I mean, do they not have any former Louisiana quarterback like Billy Joe Gunrack or Bobby Hebert that can come play for them?
Unbelievable. Jake Delhomme still young?
Yeah, I mean, come on. So,
well,
anyway, that's how we have it. So we got the game tomorrow. San Francisco
excellent.
+6.5, hosting Denver in preseason action tomorrow night. Already have a winning weekend, folks. I mean, you're playing with house money now. Go for local man's throat.
There you go.
With that game.
Yep. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, with our Friday show. Long, hot summer day, episode number 240. Beautiful. We are a little bit more than a week away from our 1-year anniversary of Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Ford announces employee pricing on every new 24 and most new 25 Fords, and only at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, up to $5,000 below employee pricing, plus no payments for 90 days. From America, for America, at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, home of America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 years in a row, the F-150, with hundreds to choose from. The Ford Escape, the Ford Edge, and the Ford Bronco, all priced at thousands below invoice. And pack up the crew in a Ford Expedition or a Ford Explorer for the beach, the lake, or the big game. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today. Before we get to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, is there anything in Major League Baseball? I mean, the Braves did win yesterday. You mentioned 8-6. They're hosting Miami again, once again.
6-10 tonight.
Playing the Marlins. I mean, it's like every week or something. I don't know what the deal is. Coming off a losing streak, getting a win. Any momentum, or is it just still down in the dumps?
Don't get involved. Don't be hurt.
Tampa is playing about as far away as you can play from the Bay Area. They are in Seattle.
Yes, to take on the Mariners. Probably the best weekend matchup. If you're asking me, a recommendation, I got to go Los Angeles again. Okay. The Blue Jays, who are playing really, really well. I'm a little bit surprised. They have They have made a couple of good deals before the trade deadline. The Blue Jays take on the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight at 9 o'clock Central Time to begin a series. I'm telling you, this is the one to watch. I mean, I love some of the players for the Blue Jays, Vlad Guerrero Jr. and all those guys. The Dodgers with Shohei, but two really, really good teams. The Dodgers are 17 games over 500. Toronto's 20 games over 500. The Blue Jays actually have a better record than the Dodgers. But tonight, Max Scherzer goes for Toronto against Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Between them, I think they've got 6 Cy Young Awards. They'll both be first ballot Hall of Famers, and they pitch against each other tonight. If you're looking for one to watch, don't watch the Braves and the Marlins. Both of them are putrid.
I'm going to
watch
probably
Jays and the Dodgers 9-10 tonight from Dodger Stadium.
I think I'm going to impress you a little bit with this. Even though I did not know the National League had instituted the designated hitter 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, however many years ago it was.
3.
I tell you a game I think is going to be really intriguing. These two teams don't face off very often at all.
Okay, so get rid of the Cubs and Cardinals because they faced each other 2,000 times.
Barry, how about this game? The Red Sox at the Padres tonight.
That is another good one.
How about those two? Both of them battling it out in their division in second place.
Relatively similar records. I think the Padres have a half game better record than the Boston Red Sox right now. It'll be Walker Buehler on the mound for Boston. He's a little bit of a hothead.
Yeah.
That is a good call. 8:40 tonight. They don't play each other very much.
I saw that matchup, and then I saw where they were listed in the standings. I thought, man, this ought to be a good one. San Diego hosting the Boston Red Sox tonight. I also, one other thing I wanted to get to, I mentioned it kind of in passing. I did see a little bit of the Netflix series about the SEC, and I did notice there are 7 episodes. I did want to see what all the 7 episodes were about. I kind of jumped around a little bit. I watched the Vandy parts about Vanderbilt, Clarkley. You'd mentioned that.
I would have thought that would have been the ones that you fast forwarded.
You'd mentioned. I probably would have if you hadn't told me about Clarkley and Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
The LSU one I thought was interesting.
Brian Kelly loves him the F word.
Yeah, he does. He does. Watch a little bit of the Auburn part. Hugh Freeze's speech to his team. But as I mentioned, some of the teams are not featured. Now they did Alabama was part of it but it was more of an LSU segment. They just happened to show the game against Alabama. I think some of the Vandy was up against had Alabama in there as well. But in terms of being featured and interviewing and this, that, and the other, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee.
Let's see the ones that didn't participate. I'm looking it up. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't.
Why would you not? I mean, I know they've got their own stuff. I think Alabama does a good job with some of their behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But why would they not? Why would they not have? Is there too much publicity?
Or I wonder if Netflix does this next year, will they feature those teams?
They turned them down.
Barry, I got to think, I guess the SEC gave the individual teams, let them make the decision.
Well,
but I got to think Netflix is going, we really would like to have Texas, Georgia, and Alabama as part of this series we're doing.
Now, a couple of them are in there. John's already mentioned that. Ole Miss opted out, but they're in there.
Yeah.
They're in there getting beat by Florida and LSU. But it's not from their perspective. Lane Kiffin was asked about that. He said, to each his own, I'm quoting here, to each his own, I've just never been a fan of those things when they come in and over the years, they want to see what you got here and take a look and, just.
I think the access is really neat.
Yeah, but that's what he doesn't
room,
like.
They're in the practice facility. They're in some of the meetings. Clarkley's having a meeting with his staff. They're showing all that kind of stuff.
But he also says this, since you bring that up. He says, I just never wanted the cameras in there. And then all of a sudden, this position coach thinks, oh, here's my shot for every athletic director to see me and see what a great coach I am. and they start talking differently than they normally do in coaching. You and I have seen this before in our business. We know players, student athletes, we know coaches that we think are pretty fascinating guys.
Yeah.
But you put a microphone in front of them, they're like, I mean, they're just different.
No doubt.
You know, I imagine Lane's probably got a pretty good point. You know, coaches just reaming this kid out, and then the next day, here comes this Netflix camera, and he's got his arm around him saying, golly, gee, son, we just need a little, you know, you're different than the way you normally
I wonder
are.
if coaches, I mean, obviously Brian Kelly didn't have a problem with it. Clark Lee dropping some language as well in their practice. And that's the raw reality that you get. And I kind of like that. You know, not that they're using that language, but it's part of it. I heard it growing up playing football, and kind of, to me, adds a little realism to it. But maybe other coaches don't want possible recruits, things like that, seeing them like that. They're going to eventually see them like that when they get there at some point in time. But I mean, I'll be interested to see if the schools that opted out this year will want to be in it next year after the fact.
Bear in mind, Ole Miss has their own show. It's on the SEC network, Inside Ole Miss Football.
Yep.
They do their own thing. The Longhorn Network, which is, you know, which famously they gave up to be in the SEC. They still have a streaming platform. They have a program at Texas called Tough All Day. That's behind the scenes at Texas football. So if you're looking for kind of the most prevalent reason why Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma don't do it, it's because they do their own thing.
Yeah.
Which I can respect.
Yeah, I can respect that too.
But yeah, sooner or later, they're going to start thinking, they're going to start getting some pressure. Hey, man.
Yeah, I checked it out. It was pretty interesting stuff. And, you know, it's football. If you like that type of stuff, behind the scenes kind of stuff, and certainly some game action as well is a part of it. So, yeah, check it out. Auburn's part of it. Alabama is not. And well, Alabama is part of it, but like I said, it's Vanderbilt beating Alabama in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's LSU getting beat by Alabama in Baton Rouge. So they're really following those programs, not so much Alabama at all, actually. No. They show Milroe scoring against LSU. They showing throwing up in Nashville, or the defense throwing up, giving up 40 points. Unbelievable. But it's pretty good. I'll give it a thumbs up.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel is pretty good. Our buddy the Moon, Chris the Bammer, says, yeah, spin. That's coming up, Chris. It's next with Longshore and McKnight, live from Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
All right, welcome back in. Glad you are with us here. Final segment of our live broadcast, but you can watch us anytime at your convenience. YouTube, Facebook, yellowhammernews.com. Check it out. You also listen on Spotify. Great ways to check us out. We really appreciate all that. All right, before we get to the Wheelberry, Robbie has spoken. Woo!
Over and over again. Just in
Man.
case you're wondering, Robbie says, Bob from Pike Road doesn't understand bigger offensive line doesn't mean better.
Yeah.
Bama's offensive line wants to be physical, but also versatility, playing different positions with traps and misdirection.
And he goes on to say,
Ty Simpson doesn't I've got to get if you've never heard Robbie from Greenville on the radio, you've missed a treat. Ty Simpson doesn't have the rocket arm and explosive first step, but he has above average arm strength and running ability. But Simpson is a much better fit in DeBoer's offense. Better decision making.
Yeah. Look, you can have all the rocket arms you want. How accurate are you? My problem with Milroe was the little flat routes across the middle, which were non-existent. He could throw it deep. I don't know what his route tree was last night when he went 6 of 10 in the second half for the Seahawks.
I'll never forget, somebody was telling me, Gene Stallings, when he was the coach at Alabama, was speaking to a Garden Club or Camellia Club or something like that, or maybe, the Birmingham Quarterback Club, back when Freddie Kitchens was the quarterback.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kitchens could throw it a mile. And somebody was asking him about Kitchens' accuracy. He says, he's been much more accurate in preseason drills. Instead of overthrowing receivers by 10 yards, he's only overthrown them by 5. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, there are guys out there who can throw it so unbelievably far. But when they're on the move with a defender breathing down their necks and they got to just dump it off to somebody, they're going to throw it at their feet every time.
You better believe it. All right, good stuff on our River Region Straw chat line. Let's check out Gern Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, brought to you by our good friends at Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
Just like the DH, we're ignorant of everything that he's got on here. We're looking at it for the first time. Pinky, tushy, it could be anything.
Let's see what we got.
We'll react.
Let's see. A lot of colors here. And withholding.
Have you been speaking to John's tax attorney?
Yeah.
What is this all about?
Got to withhold some more.
Come on. I don't know who this FICA guy is, but can you help me out? Withhold some stuff. Okay, withholding. What do we got?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Withholding. Okay.
Oh, the Mountain West. Ooh. There's a lawsuit. Mountain West Conference, which, who knows who's in there anymore, Grand Canyon. Boise State, Colorado State, Utah State are accusing the conference of improperly withholding millions of dollars in payments. Boise State still hasn't gotten all of their college football playoff revenue. For those who have forgotten, they did make an appearance.
They did make the playoff, didn't they?
They did, with the number 2 guy in the Heisman Trophy voting, Ashton Jeanty. They filed a lawsuit. The Mountain West is holding up some of their money because they are getting out and going to the Pac-12, and they want their money before they leave.
Barry, I got to tell you,
the Mountain West is holding up to him, says, you'll get nothing and like it.
I know Grand Canyon because they're a basketball school. They've been in the tournament.
Bryce Drew, who used to coach Vanderbilt, hit the big shot for Valpo to beat Ole Miss.
That's right.
Is the Grand Canyon coach.
I did not know they played football. Is that the one that you can get that degree? No, it's University of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which is also in the same state as the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
So see, I got that. I'm close.
There you go.
All right, let's spin it again, Gern. See what's up next. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama. Why not head to Victoryland this weekend? Have a lot of fun and win you some cash.
Bad luck.
Bad luck. Hadn't been on the Phantom side lately.
No, this does not have anything to do with him. Bad luck.
Bad luck. What's it say? Ooh.
Oh, Bayal Cone. Torn knee. Oh.
See these preseason
Bill
games?
from Baltimore. Is this guy a big loss?
They're bringing the card out. That ain't good.
Yep.
That's not good when they bring the
card
out.
There's 3 things you never want to see if you can help it. The IRS agent, the compliance director, or the guy driving the gator out to the middle of the field towards you.
Didn't Randy Moss wear 81?
He did.
Yeah.
He wore
How about
88 in college. He wore 81
thought.
with the Patriots, I
Yeah.
want to say. 88.
Maybe
with
the Vikings?
Yeah.
Man, I hate it for that young man. But, hey, his team won the game. One of the 3 home dogs that won the game outright last night. How about that?
So are you saying he's got that going for him?
He's got that going for him.
Yeah.
It is a team game, last I heard.
It is preseason, too.
Okay.
Back to it.
All right, let's go. 4 more to go. Let's see what we got going. Speeding right through
Tushy,
this.
finale, pinky.
Oh, man. Let's see.
All
Where's this
right.
gonna land?
And name change. All right. Pinky.
Pinky.
Oh, yeah. I know what this is. Get this.
All right.
Get this. Anthony Richardson.
Uh-huh.
He is day to day. He is the future for the Indianapolis Colts.
True.
He is. I mean, last year he wasn't great. This year, because he didn't really know what he was doing.
Looks like
this
he
year,
needs an offensive line, Barry.
He is day to day with a dislocated pinky. I made fun every once in a while of Eddie Lacy because he always seemed to have like terminal turf toe.
Yeah.
Dislocated pinky.
Gerd, can you run that clip
Can you
back
do
again?
something? Can
What
you
is this
tape it
tight end doing here? I mean, what's this tackle doing? Whoop! Just let this guy go right by.
Untouched. Untouched. Plants it right underneath his chin.
You know what's going to happen in film study, Barry? Whoa!
Yeah.
Those guys are going to catch it. I mean, a back coming out of the
if they even
backfield.
make it to film study, they may be back stocking groceries or selling insurance.
I mean, 3 players completely whiffed on 90 who drives the quarterback into the ground.
Anthony Richardson, tremendously talented quarterback. He is a Florida Gator. They drafted him top 5. He's the future of the franchise, kind of learning things last year, bad offensive line. If anybody in the NFL needs reps, it's him, and now he's going to lose a bunch of them.
Is that his throwing hand?
Yes.
Okay, 3
All
more to
right,
go. Let's
3
see
more.
what we got. We can get them in. I promise you we can.
I think so. Here we go.
Spinning away, green, yellow, and blue. How about that?
This weekend, busy weekend at Victoryland 777
Yes,
Casino,
sir.
by the way.
Finale.
Finale?
What do we got here?
Oh, Lee Corso turned 90.
Happy birthday,
yesterday.
Coach.
Despite him being relatively discourteous,
Coach Corso
appearance with us one time, I kind of like it. 90 years old as of yesterday. Lee Corso, Katy Perry,
love that guy.
Oregon Duck, Will Ferrell, Brutus the Buckeye. His legacy, nameth an arch. What the heck is that? Going to have a big Lee Corso.
Corso had suffered.
They are. They're going to have like an hour-long Corso special coming up.
Corso Palooza.
I cannot wait.
All right, check it out on ESPN. Check your
Happy
local
birthday,
list.
Coach.
There you go. 90.
Multiple-time guest with John and Barry.
Well, I was voting for just that once, but John had him on over and over again. I'm sitting here trying to think of a question just to flesh out the interview. Never was a huge fan, to be perfectly transparent. So I asked him one more question, and he said, "What is this, War and Peace?" I'm thinking, Coach, I don't even want to ask you the question. I'm doing this for you. Yeah, of course, that's the reason why John asked him, "Hey, can we get you on again real soon?" And I'm thinking, yeah, let me know I'll let you know when I'm on vacation.
All right, 2 more to go. Let's
Here
see
we go.
what we got here
All
on
right.
the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. You could be a winner at Victoryland.
Tushy. Only
Let's see.
old Jewish women use that
That's
phrase.
right.
Tushy.
Tushy. What we got here with the tushy? Is it the tushy pushy? What do we got here?
Oh, yeah. It almost got banned in the offseason. Philadelphia used it in their Thursday night game against Cincinnati,
Sure.
right to it.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't with Jalen. It was with Tanner McKee. It's great for the Eagles. That helped them win the Super Bowl because 2 things. Number 1, they got a fabulous offensive line. And number 2, they got the strongest quarterback in the NFL.
That's
There
true.
are bigger guys than Jalen Hurts, but especially lower legs, lower body, ain't nobody stronger than Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Good luck. Stop
Another
that.
home team dog that won outright in the NFL.
There you go.
last
That's a
night.
good one.
All
Okay.
right, 1 more to
Now,
go. Got to spin it to make it official.
in a bit of irony, the finale of the topic wheel is not finale. It'll be name change.
All
It's
right.
not us.
Not us.
I had been lobbying for McKnight and Longshore. Not going to happen. Name change.
Name change. Let's see
What
what we
could
got.
this be?
Ah,
Clean old-fashioned hate has been the rivalry. Do we know that?
I think I've heard that before.
The inaugural Invesco QQQ Atlanta Gridiron Classic. Which would you take more seriously? The inaugural Invesco QQQ Atlanta Gridiron Classic between Tech and Georgia, or clean old-fashioned hate?
I think we're going to go with clean old-fashioned hate, man. Just like it's the old school people call it, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
By the way, quick aside, we had a nice going away send-off with Brent Jones, the athletic director at Troy. He's off to Georgia Tech starting after next week. He'll be back and he'll be, working for Troy until next week. I never was going to root for Georgia anyway, never have in my life. But now I'm definitely rooting for Georgia Tech every year over
Barry,
Georgia.
was it last year Tech is this close to beating Georgia? Last year?
I think, if I remember, Joe Tessitore may have mentioned it, Georgia was playing for inclusion into the college football playoff. I kid, because he said it about 145 times.
Yeah. Huge game. It was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Barry. Wrapping things up here live. We're going to be on all day. So you can watch us whenever you want to. It's your convenience. Listen to. It's the kickoff sales event.
And this is going on all day and all weekend.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
All month during the kickoff sales event, where you can get just incredible deals on the Jeep lineup, the Chrysler, the Dodge, and of course the Ram lineup as well. 2025 Ram 1500s up to 21 grand off for 3.9% APR for 72 months. Also great deals on the 2500 Rams. If you need something a little more heavy duty, got that for you at 14 grand off as well. Great deals on the Jeep Cherokee, 11 grand off. The Jeep Wrangler, great deals on that as well. You can't beat it. And I'm telling you, Barry, the inventory, the stock here
it's amazing.
Is huge. So it's not like, I only got 4 or 5 to choose from. You got hundreds to choose from in the front, the sides, the rear of the dealership.
Yep.
It is all here. Come by and make it part of your weekend plan to come by and see our friends here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Prattville.
John Longshore is going to make it his weekend plan to keep his phone charged because he's going to get a lot of intel tomorrow from his operatives in the field who shall by necessity remain nameless.
And I'm going to say this, Barry,
at Alabama's scrimmage tomorrow.
If you film any of it, that's on you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
That's
now,
exactly right.
I'm not saying
you'll get your sideline privileges revoked. You're at a Tide Pride. The machine kicks you out. Maybe worse.
Yeah.
Red Elephant Club, persona non grata, don't film it.
But if you send it to you, send them. I mean, hey, I want them.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, the stealth manner in which these guys are able to do it, I'm impressed. So keep them coming.
Yep. So we'll have intel from Auburn scrimmages today, from Alabama scrimmage tomorrow, more next week as we continue on. We have begun today with Brett Norsworthy from Ole Miss, Dick Gabriel, the Big Blue Insider from Kentucky. Monday throughout the week next week, we'll continue our tour of the SEC.
Looking forward to it.
For everybody here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Copsford Road in Prattville, for our producer, Gern Jr., John Longshore, Barry McKnight, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.